Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. I am Rob and you're watching Outside in the 515. Today, more splitting. Stay tuned. So today, got a really nice day out. Nice and cool this morning. Yesterday I got a little warm, and that's why Sheila and I decided to kind of only do half the pile. So Sheila's still in bed, so we'll see if the sound of the splitter gets her up and gets her going for the day. But we're gonna get the splitter fired up and try to knock out the rest of these rounds that I got, so I can go get more. Here we go. that's the last of the rounds we got split up today. Got it done in about an hour, so it's still nice. There's a nice breeze going on. Got to listen to my neighbor. They were cutting some trees down. Well, I tell you, when you have real saws, professional grade saws, and you hear people firing up, the box store Polands, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, or even the homeowner grade Echoes or Husqvarnas. When you have real saws, it makes you appreciate the saws you have, because they were laboring with some of these cuts, and part of me wanted to go help. On the other hand, he's been kind of a pain in the butt, so we'll just let him deal with it. But Sheila and I are pretty much done wood hounding for a while, at least collecting rounds, going out and getting them. We got a pretty good mess going on here, couple of really good piles, and I'm going out of town next week, and the week after I want to get the wood yard set up. I want to get the back end of the yard set, and that way I don't have this pile right behind my house, and we can start collecting more. We don't have to feel like we got to split all the time. We can go and get a good collection going before we start splitting. And I also want to get the roadside stand built, and I got to get the roadside stand built, and I got to get the wrapper built. I'll put a video out of me building that wrapper. It's gonna be out of steel. I'm gonna weld it together, but it's gonna be somewhat of a take on wolf ridges and somewhat of just the standard wrappers. Now it's just going to be a hand wrapper. I'm not going to put a crank or a motor or anything like that, but I liked wolf ridges, some of it, and I've got all the steel from when I had my welding business, so it's all paid for, so it's pretty much free money that I can use to build my wrappers. So we want to get all that done. And the other thing is most of this stuff isn't ready to sell yet. When we had our live about a week ago or so, there was still some stuff sizzling out, so that tells me the stuff isn't quite ready yet. So I'm kind of looking September time frame, getting the roadside stand put up, and we can start selling. But like I said, we're going to see my grandkids next week out of state. We're gonna make a stop at Widman Cycle in St. Louis, and I'm gonna put my hands on a Wolf Ridge, so I'm excited for that. That being said, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I also want to give a shout out to all of you that tuned into my live. I had a great time. My wife did tell me though that next time I'm limited, she's going to be the one pouring my drinks for me, because towards the end, I don't know if you noticed, I was just a little tipsy. That Iowa bourbon was going down way too smooth, and with a fire and good chats with good people, you know how those nights go. So, but I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I think we're going to do that first of every month, first Saturday of the month. I don't want to do it every Saturday night, because then you got, Dan's doing every Friday night, and we don't want to overload it. So I kind of like how Brad does his, where it's the last Thursday of the month. So I think we're going to do the first Saturday of every month through the fall, and then when it comes time for winter, then I'll probably just do it in our office or something, but we can figure that when we get there. So again, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, click all the bells and whistles at the bottom, and we'll catch you on the next one.